This one, more people are
Okay.
on this. Hello everybody! Hi! Thank you so much to be here with us. We have AJ here, that is the art director of this Sci-Fi TV show. I'm excited, I have so many questions for him. Thank you so much to be here again. You can watch the pilot at www.00cyborgs.com. Watch it if you like it. You can even be part of it. So, let's start this Q&A. Thank you so much to be here.
You're welcome.
All right. AJ, tell us a little bit about yourself. How did you start this crazy adventure of, entertainment, entering the business and make props? What was your, initial spark to do this?
Okay, my initial spark to do this. I'll try and make this as quick as possible. When I was a kid, I was a little more introverted and found no connection to a lot of kids my age. And of course, I retreated to the television. And then I just, as at a really young age, started making things that I would see on the Jetsons, little controls, any little box I would find, or my grandmother's medicine bottles. And just kept going from there. I would make phasers with Legos, and that's before they had black pieces. I would just use a marks a lot and blacken it out. And as I got older, I would go to Radio Shack and get little kits that and project books that showed how to make light sequence and things like that. And I was fascinated. I'll back up a little bit. When I was 7, my mom had a Time Life Do-It-Yourself book, and it showed how to take a piece of a coat hanger and a light bulb from a flashlight and a battery and put it together and make it light. And that blew my mind. And that was it. That was the beginning of the end. And from then on, I was pulling apart Christmas lights and melting holes in lunchboxes to make a control panel and learning respect for electricity at an early age. I would blow fuses in the house and shock myself pretty nicely. It was a good lesson to learn early. And so as I got older, I just got better at making these circuits. And in fact, I should have brought one. I still have one that I made when I was 12 years old, and it still works. A little sequencing light in a box. It's great. And later in life, I went into the engineering field doing drafting and electrical and instrumentation and mechanical work. And I had worked in that field for many years. And then I was building tricorders and sneaking at my job to make a fully working Voyager tricorder. And I realized, I shouldn't be sneaking at my job to do this. I should make this my job. And of course, I had no idea how to get across the country. I'm from New Orleans, by the way, Louisiana. And
beautiful place.
Oh yeah, it's Mardi Gras, by the way. Next Tuesday, Mardi Gras. So I had no idea of how to even save money, much less move across the country by myself. It was such a foreign concept. But a few years later, I did do it. I found some friends that were going, and I didn't really know them that well. And I was like, can I go too? And they're like, sure. And I did come here, and it actually took 10 years living in LA before I fell into the entertainment industry doing this work. And people say it's not what you know, but who you know. And that really is true to a good extent. I didn't know anyone. I did go to a lot of prop shops when I first moved to LA with my working tricorders and so on. And these people would just look at me like, who in the hell are you? And how did you get in the front door? And, it really got me nowhere. And really it wasn't until nine years later, I was working at a company, a design firm, and a big layoff happened. And someone I worked with that came to my house with his wife for a party saw my artwork, which has a lot of found items and lighted pieces. And he went back into production work on the movie Tron Legacy, and they needed help. It was this shop, Ironhead Studio, who made all of the helmets. And he called one day and said, hey, we have a project. Are you doing anything? Would you like to come and help out? You do this kind of work. I've seen your artwork. I'm like, oh, sure. Well, what's the project? He's like, well, I didn't tell you, but it's Tron. And I was like, whoa. Yes, I'd be interested. And he's like, yeah, but when you get here, act like you don't know. I'm like, oh no, I'm cool, dude. I'm cool. I'll be super cool. And from then on, you know, it's just by word of mouth. People I've worked with, I've continued to work since '09, and I've enjoyed my career so far. You know, I'm looking to go forward, and this is my opportunity. And thank you, you know, for giving me this opportunity. I have had an opportunity on several projects because usually we're given a project like on Tron Legacy, like here's a helmet, here's what we want the lights to look like at the end, make it happen. And on Tron, I worked with a big team of super talented people, molders, sculptors, painters, and I was in the electrical group, and myself and 3 other guys worked on putting all the lights and all the helmets for the film. And so that was a really great learning experience. I really enjoyed it. I was like, it was almost tailor-made for me. And so from then on, you know, just whenever other projects have come up, you know, they've pulled me in, and people I've worked with have gone to other shops and then pulled me over there. And it's been great. And as I was saying, you know, we're just given a project and told do it. On other projects, sometimes a client will come in and they don't have an idea of what they want. They're like, I kind of want this. For instance, in Star Trek Beyond, the last film that just came out, we had a prop master come in to the shop. I'm currently working at Quantum Creation Effects, and as you can tell, I'm a Star Trek fan, I guess a little bit.
His son was my teacher, by the way.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's Adam?
Yeah.
Adam Nimoy. Oh, awesome.
He did a big documentary about him that is unbelievable.
About his father.
Yeah.
Yes, For the Love of Spock.
Yeah, I remember the biggest thing that he always repeat to us. Remember, guys, Hollywood space is like this, and these are the people that they want to come. So remember, this.
So true.
Always
and it's not changing. Even though a lot of work is going to London and Canada and everywhere else.
And Louisiana
as well,
by the way.
Louisiana, yeah. So this prop master came in right before Star Trek Beyond and said he needed something. And I didn't know it was Star Trek. And then my boss came to me and said, hey, Jay, they need an oxygen mask, this prop guy, and they don't have any designs. They just have some concept images of some products on the market now, and you want to take a stab at it and just see what you can do, you know, throw some designs out. I'm like, yeah, okay. And I was working on probably Independence Day at the time, putting lights in something. And I was like, oh yeah, sure. And he's like, and it's for Star Trek. And I just hit the ground. Oh, sure, no problem. No, yes, of course, yeah. And then the boss just rolled because he knew that would be my reaction. So I did like 5 concepts, and they picked the first one, and it was just, you'll see it. Actually, I was very proud. You saw it in the first trailer for Star Trek Beyond.
Yay!
Scotty was in the escape pod, and he had this oxygen mask with lights on it, and it had a blue piece on the front, and I was like, oh wow, I was so tickled. And then, but I figured most of the things we do, a lot of things that we do get, this is how you see them on screen. And that's it. Mm-hmm. And it can be a lot of work that's been put into things, especially in a Guillermo del Toro film. He loves detail. Mm. He's all about the details. He wants people to put in good work, and we do. And then his camera just blasts past everything, and because that's his method, I guess, for realism. And so anyway, when I saw the film, I'm sorry I'm droning on about this too much. When I saw the film Beyond Star Trek, I was very happy to see my mask got a lot of screen time. I was so happy I almost cried. It's a really pleasant feeling, more than pleasant, to see your work up on screen. It's even nicer to see a credit with your name after the film too, which doesn't happen often if you're a subcontractor and whatnot. It's a fickle situation in town for credits. But maybe we won't go into that today.
Yeah, it's another world. Like, who did this? Why is not my name there?
Yeah,
yalla, yalla, yalla.
but you'll see you'll see caterers got credit, and production babies get credit, and the drivers got credit, but the person who made Batman's suit didn't get credit. That's a whole stink that happened. I won't say which Batman, but anyway, yes, it happens.
That's pretty sad, because what makes these crazy sci-fi movies legendary, actually, a little bit, it's these details, what we remember, there are these details. That is
right. So that's where I am now.
So I have a question that now comes from this answer. You have a lot of years of experience in this business, all right? If somebody like a new person want to enter in the same business you're doing, with all your experience, what will be your advice to start with? Because you made some mistakes, some things really work. So you say, no, don't do this, do that. You have a lot of experience. So tell these guys that say, I want to do the same job you do, what they should do.
I think, and I wish I would have known this, back in those days when I first got here and went to those shops and, brought this really good work, to show them. And that didn't matter to them. They didn't know me. And I totally understand it now. Like, we don't want to hire a stranger right off the street. It really is word of mouth, because you have to work around sensitive material, copyrighted material that can't get out. You have to work around people sometimes 12, 14 or more hours a day. You want to be able to get along with the people you're around. As the person who hired me on Tron asked my friend who brought me in, does he play well with others? And it's really true. You want to enjoy yourself at work. You don't want problems at work. You really can't afford that. And so, anyway, to new people that come here and want to try, and if I would have known this, I would have gone to some of these shops and said, you know what, I'm willing to intern, which means work for free.
That's right.
Put your best foot forward and do the best you can. Take shitty little jobs, and it'll help you. It'll give people a chance to see how you work and who you are, and then they decide, you know what, this guy's been working out pretty good and they do good work, let's give him a little more responsibility. Hey, how about now we pay them? And that's the goal, and that's how you build yourself. In fact, maybe not quite 2 years ago, I had a friend I met through friends at a party, and there was this really interesting looking guy, and I just started talking to him because, he was quite different than everyone else, and I'm kind of drawn to different people. And so he was going to a visual effects college. So we just started chatting about softwares and so on. We became friends on Facebook. And at one point, like a year or so later, he asked, hey, are they doing an internship at the shop you're working at right now? And I said, you know what? I'm sure they wouldn't be opposed to it, but let me check in on that. So he did digital work, and so we gave him a couple of little projects on the Great Wall. We were doing costumes for that. That's at Quantum Creation Effects. We made the entire main female character's costume.
The blue one.
Yes.
Which popped out so much in the movie. It was like, whoa, yeah. I can see your costume.
Yeah, I heard. I have not seen it, but I heard they wear them the entire film.
The entire film.
Yeah. So, and I made several parts of that digitally myself. And so this guy came in and he did some work on like the tassets and some of the borders, and so it was great. And then I showed my boss, and after about a week I said, look at this great work he did. He's like, oh, well, how much do I owe him? I said, nothing. He's interning. He's like, okay. And then like a week later he did some more work, and I said, look at this great work. I'm like, and he's like, well, should I pay him something? I'm like, I'm sure that wouldn't be a bad idea. And so now my friend has like 6, 7 major films on his IMDb credit because, he was willing to work for nothing at first and prove himself to be reliable.
He's a great guy, after all.
Yeah, that also. So I wish I would have known about that. Like because I'm a Trekkie, when I first got to LA, the people I was supposed to move with fell through, flaked on me, and I couldn't live with them. But friends back home made calls to friends and got me a place to stay for a month. So this guy had an extra bedroom, and so I flew out, had my car shipped. I caught a cab to Hollywood, schlepped my bags up these steps to this guy's place, plowed to his extra bedroom and put my stuff down and opened the window, and guess what's directly across the street? Like outside the window, like here, there's a street. And guess what's right on the other side of the street? Paramount Pictures. So I'm like, oh my God, Star Trek is in my backyard, literally. So I had some of my work material with me, and I did look up some names.
I know some other people that they live across the street, Paramount Picture, right?
So I did submit some material there, and of course I never heard back. And maybe that was 2000. I came here in October 1st of 2000. I think in 2001 they had openings in the paper. They announced for a position as a page at Paramount. So I went and applied and got in. They hired a group at one time. So I would go by the Trek production offices and just talk to people. And I should have thought to say, hey, on my off days, could I come and do anything? Can I run your copies? You know, I'll intern, you know, whatever. I had no concept that was something I could do. And, you know, who knows, maybe, you know, because I had tried so hard, folks, to get on the new Trek series. And I was not connected enough to know anyone on production to even get a chance to talk to anyone, to show them my work.
Just try, you know. Remember also that, just try. A friend of mine just internship to Avatar, the next Avatar movies. He's working for free, but can you imagine your curriculum that you are interns for a movie like that, for a production like that? He just tried, and they said, okay,
right,
sure.
I mean, I had tried to hit up every aspect I could to get on that, but you know, I just couldn't get connected with anyone. So it was kind of rough, you know. And then when it moved up to Canada, I'm like, oh, now what am I going to do? I can't, you know, sell my house and pack up my dogs and just take off to Canada. Can't do that right now. But you know what? The show will probably be on for several years, and who knows what will happen. You know, I might be able to do designs here. Well, how about, speaking of Trek designs, can I show them?
Yes, please,
something?
please.
Not to disparage anyone else's work, but when the first Abrams Trek film came out, I loved the fact that they went back to the roots and used a lot of very original-esque designs, like on the costumes, and you know, an updated ship design, which I loved. I was buying into it. I was a little disappointed by the phaser and tricorder and communicator. I was like, because I feel like these props are just as important as a character in the film. It's something we grew up with, just like that uniform.
Especially in these movies, for sure.
You know, and I was like, great, they did the uniform, they're just so close, and to the original, but updated, it's great. And then this exploration set they had, I didn't feel hit it. So I was like, said to some friends, you know what, I could do a better job designing it. So I did, and I did sketches, and I 3D modeled, and this is my tricorder. Ooh. A lot of aspects of the original classic Trek tricorder design by Ming Chang, sorry, and functional as well. Sort of. Let's see if we can get it all to work. And
I love the rating. I don't know why.
Well, some of it's dead. But it has a working screen. It has scrolling lights, which are dead right now. Of course, I charged it, but it died. This is a separate battery supply. And the little pull-out scanner.
I love it.
But you can go on my website. Can I mention my website?
Yeah, for sure.
AJCatalano.com, and go to props, and you can see videos of this working. I also did a really fantastic phaser.
I love it.
Which I love. I love it. I love. I don't mean to talk big about myself, but I really love the designs, and you can see videos of them working. Is the last one open as well? No, this is just like, this is actually where the batteries go.
Perfect.
On the back. Well, battery packs and rechargeables. And yeah, so I just love my little tricorder. Oh, and I had great animations which I made and put on a little media player, and I'm sorry it's not working right now, but that's just fate. So yeah.
And that is part of the big wall. What is that part right there?
Oh, this? This is a visor I did for a coworker's band. Roy Rodriguez, he's a musical artist, and he's also a fabricator with us, and he's worked on a lot of these major films as well. And he's like, AJ, I want you to design a visor for me with lights, and for him and his music partner. And he said, for me, I just want something that just goes across in these light bars. That's all he drew, was a line and pencil, and lights like bars this way. And for Saris, the other member, I want the lights to just, I don't know what, do anything, but just have the lights come down like this, like straight up and down. So I was like, great. And I had some free time, so I did this on my own, and I didn't charge him. I think he paid for the materials, which was not a lot. It's a 3D print, and this is Saris's. I hope it shows up okay on.
Yes.
Fun. I've had someone. This is really made for someone with a shaved head, but it's a lovely design. I really enjoy it. Oops.
And we are switching to Q&A, guys, so you guys can ask actually question on Q&A section. Okay, we will publish. Remember.
So this is Saris's, and this is Roar's that he wanted. It really came out very Cyclops-ish.
Oh, I love it.
Let's see. Did I break it? No. There we go.
This is super cool.
So it was really fun to do.
Please, can I wear it?
Yes, please do.
Just
yes.
one time.
Yeah, of course. You can wear it the whole day.
Oh, I love it. Come on, it goes super perfect with the outfit. Yeah.
Yes, it's great for the club.
Hello, guys. Tonight I have a party. No, I'm just kidding.
Perfect.
So,
yeah, it's 3D printed and just built directly from this. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Really fun to do it. It was a good challenge, and it came out great. Next question.
Yeah, from there I want to move from the fact that originally in our TV show we had another pistol. We had another gun actually that we asked to him and say, hey, and said, maybe you can use this, maybe you cannot, I don't know, I'm not sure, let me work on something else, and then we have the gun that we're using in the show. So can you show the two guns that they were, the first attempt and then real gun?
This is funny.
This is hot.
A friend of mine, another musical artist, several years ago at Hamlet Music, had a song, and I guess I could tell you, the name of the song was called Dildo in My Pocket. And he's like, I want a gun, and my character, I'm going to have a music video, and the character is going to go down the street, and he's going to fire this gun at like billboards and sides of buildings, and my logo will appear, and I'll shoot, the character in the video is like a 70s handlebar mustache, Rico Suave type. And so he said, something, the song is Dildo in My Pocket. I'm like, it's already done. It's already done in my head. So and I kept it because they don't have money. When somebody doesn't have money,
let's show the gun. Let's show the gun.
Leonardo, I almost rented this to him for the pilot, and this is it. Woohoo! It's very Barbarella. I love it. Very Barbarella. And let's see if I can shoot the. It's got a green laser. Where are you?
Great look. Great look.
So it's really fun. I've rented this. They actually rented this for an alien in the Ariana Grande Break Free video as well, which I made her ray gun for that video, and I heard she loved it so much they gave it to her afterwards. So anyway, he rented this, and then the actor we couldn't make it that day, so he's like, I have to bring it back. I was like, okay. He goes, it may be a week or two. I said, well, you know what? I feel like this isn't really appropriate for the genre. I'm not going to promise anything, but I may make you something else just because I feel like it. Yeah. And I really liked Leonardo's enthusiasm and his passion when I first met him. So a lot of people will approach me online and ask for props, and and a lot of them don't have money. And to start with, and sometimes if I'm interested, I'll tell them what my normal price is, which isn't normally cheap, but sometimes if I'm really interested, I will do a build to rent where they may pay for the materials and I'll keep the prop. or they'll pay for a day of rental or whatever. So this is what I came up with, which you've seen in the pilot.
I love it.
This big monster. Pow, pow, pow. I mean, it was really fun. Pew, 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 pew. I was sad you didn't get to see it fire in the pilot.
Not yet.
It's like,
not
pow,
yet.
pow, pow, pow. And this is what Ariana Grande's gun did too, because I had the same tip. This was actually the tip I designed for my phaser, my new phaser design, which you'll see in my... And so I just had extras, so I use them a lot. And just
I love it.
really fun. Bam, bam, bam. Pow, pew, pew. So isn't that great? And I think it makes noise. I don't know. Did I?
Oh yeah.
Oh, I think it's dead.
Yeah.
Oh wait, no. There we go.
Make great noise.
I don't know what. Oh, I have to recharge it. I forgot. There we go. Oh
yes.
That's the stuff, man. That's great.
I love it. I love it. So
I
love it. From here, my next question is, what will be your dream idea direction for Cyborgs? If we have a studio, say, okay guys, you guys did a good job until here, let me take care, and you have a reasonable budget for the TV show, what will be your influence and direction? Like, somebody will go, direction, I mean, you can even name other designs like Alien or, this Sci-Fi, this other. What will be your direction visually?
Well,
that you are interested, at least interested.
Well, as I watched the pilot, of course I can't absorb the story that much because I'm too busy looking at the visuals. I'm a very visual person, and I can see keeping that look but upgrading a lot of the hardware to something that's, because you said this is maybe 5 minutes in the future, and having some visually appealing, futury, clean looking items like sunglasses, arm controls, weapons, things like that. I imagine at some point in the series there'll be a laboratory scene, and so I have a caboodle of ideas for medical droids, that are very clean looking and somewhat alien but definitely robotic looking, that we will use like very tall and thin actors dressed up in very skin tight outfits, but they still look unreal. So I want to go in that direction, and I'm thinking budget as well. This is where a lot of employers have valued me because of my creative skills and also my engineering background and my ability to know what's doable and what's not doable, and be aware of a budget as well. So that's where I feel I've been valued a lot. So, and that's what I want to bring to this project as well.
Do you have any other universe that you saw in a movie or a TV show that you would like to get close? Just to give a visual reference to the people. Oh yeah, I remember that movie. Oh yeah, I remember, yeah.
If it's possible, if the budget would allow, I loved a lot of the aesthetics in Oblivion with Tom Cruise.
That's right.
And
that was the best part.
Oh yeah.
I agree, 100%.
So I could just turn the sound off.
Go watch back the movie.
But yeah, I actually worked on that. It was funny. I forgot the scavs, and again, it was the people in the caves. We built their headpieces and goggles, the humans. They were called scavs, but they were actually the only humans.
Oh yeah.
And that Morgan Freeman was hanging out with. Yeah. So at the shop I was at, we put together a lot of their goggles and little shoulder weaponry, and then I put all the lights in those. And again, here was an example where all you saw was this, in the background, or maybe a light. You never saw details of anything. So, which is really sad, because so many talented people put so much hard work and thought into this, and then the director decides we don't need to see that. But that's just how it is. Sometimes you win, sometimes you don't. So Oblivion, and then Passengers. Have you seen the new film Passengers?
Yes, absolutely.
Oh, that is so gorgeous. Wow, great design.
Absolutely, I agree 100%.
I was so blown away. I was like,
from the spaceship, from the spaceship that it does that.
Yeah, I was like,
I love it.
Oh,
You're
this
right.
is amazing. This was worth the price of admission just to see all of this work. It was so, my eyes just blew up.
Yeah. A lot of people complain for the aliens because they are what they are. I don't. I mean, come on, aliens are whatever you want because we don't have reference of it. So why
exactly.
not?
That's why The Arrival, I thought, was a very great, plausible, what's the word, authentic portrayal of an alien.
Yeah.
With the septipods, the septipods that, walked through. I was like, wow, awesome, this is great. Yeah. I love it. It wasn't Hollywood.
Yeah, the way to communicate with that circle. Perfect, perfect idea, you know?
Some of my friends were like, I don't get it. I'm like, that's okay. I understand. It's maybe everyone wouldn't, but I did. I just, I was able to make my own assumptions.
So you don't need to get everything, A little of mystery is perfect in this.
It leaves a lot more to your own imagination to fill in the gaps, which is even better sometimes.
I wish I wish the acting of him was a little bit better. I need to be honest. I liked Earl a lot. But the co-star, I don't know. I think he ruined a little bit the movie. I don't know. That's my opinion. But the movie was awesome. I really like it. I really enjoyed it.
Very
Especially
interesting.
The design.
Yeah, but a very interesting concept.
Very interesting.
On like, how are you supposed to feel about this? Don't want to spoil anything for anyone who hasn't seen it.
Also, I can imagine to read the script and then the director say, okay, now we're going to make visual this, because storytelling, past and future visions, that was challenging, to be not super confusing about it. I really like it. I really, really enjoyed it. And the Oblivion, I have a question about, they spoke a lot about that location. Was really built from zero in cement on the middle of the forest in the Oblivion?
Which
there is a location.
I don't know about the location.
Yeah. Because
don't know.
Yeah, because really there is this crazy location, and they say it wasn't CGI, but they really built it. I love when they do that, but I'm just curious to see if it's true or not.
Interesting. I just assumed it was a location.
Yeah. So, and then speaking about, even if you can choose, we need to give a big style to the cyborgs, and we give a little bit, red is the color, of course, like you can see from the pilot, and then the main actor looks like a soldier from the past in the war between South and North or something, but even leather jackets. Do you have a vision for a kind of uniform for the cyborgs? And then the bad guys. Let's talk a little bit about the bad guys that are the robots. If we have a god for the robots, what do you think he should wear? He should fly? What are your idea to start from scratch? Okay, Leo, let's start from this, and then together we go. And then we read one question.
I think for the bad guys, the leader will be like a god. Well, then, of course, I think he should fly. I think we should think along the lines of the last Avengers from the Age of Ultron. Maybe something that thinks it's omnipotent, but is really fallible in reality. Might be a good storyline. You're asking visual. Sorry. I would say not too ornate with a costume, but something with a definite line somewhere that makes it distinguished. I'm not sure if you should go with a darker color. Black always is the bad guy. Mm-hmm. maybe something gray. I don't like going for the obvious. It's been done too much, so maybe go in that direction. I have some ideas that I'd like to get on paper. So I don't want to give everything away. I want you to pay for the show.
Let's do it. Let's read. Okay, are we going to see the internal working of the robots without the human exterior? Oh, this is a nice question. Yeah, I would love to. I would love to. A lot of people say, Leo, are you not afraid that the robots without the body will look like Terminators? Oh, if they do, I would love that, because I love Terminators. I love the graphic that they did, all the robotics, especially when they keep it real without CGI. if I can afford that, is my direction, at least mine. What do you think?
That is so funny that this person asked that. That's amazing, because a minute or two ago, I was wondering that same thing. I was thinking that exact same thing. See? Great minds think alike.
Connected.
Yes. So yeah, that would be great to do something. Maybe, and if the budget would allow, there'd be a different range of levels of advancement. You know, it'd be something a little more Terminator style, something a little more, you know, next gen maybe, and then maybe the Cylons from the modern day Battlestar Galactica, which are imperceptible from humans. So, you know, that'd be fantastic. To go have those two, and then you see, oh, this is an older model. Oh, this is a not too old model. This is the new model, and that could come into play where they don't know if they're androids or not, and so on and so on.
Oh yeah, yeah. Because one of the main idea is that there are three races, and we know there are humans, robots, and cyborgs. But in the wasteland, you really don't know who is who. So a lot of time they will be mixed, and people will trust each other until the point they say, wait, this is a robot that now is with us, you know, working with us or fighting with us. No, we don't accept that, you know. We try always to do allegories of our real society, and I love this. And my next question is, I had this polemic so many times with directors, writers, and even audience, you know. And now I can ask to an art director with a lot of experience. So I love real effect in camera, on camera. And I really can tell, at least me, I don't know. But a lot of time my polemic is, why should push on CGI when we can do that for real? You can see the difference, you will enjoy more. Why studios, big budget, they push so much in this CGI? Sometimes in an extension that it's too much. It looks like a video game. It looks like the intro of a video game. Why do you think studios push so much in CGI rather than make it for real?
You're asking me?
Yes. I want your opinion about it. What do you like more? You like the control of CGI? What's the deal?
Well, I think the answer to your question is the answer to every question, and it's money, it's budget. The people aren't around anymore that did all of the cool prop work and animatronic work that used to happen in the past. Studios have felt like, you know, CG takes the place of that. But now I think a lot of this practical work is slowly starting to come back.
Yes!
Like, okay,
thanks Christopher Nolan,
yes,
thanks a lot of big directors.
Christopher Nolan, fantastic. You know, for Interstellar, I was just floored by all of that practical work. I was like, it made me so happy. And if you ever saw the documentary of how they made the black hole, that's amazing in itself. But and I will give credit to the new Star Wars Rogue One.
Yes.
If you've seen that. Whatever CG was in that certainly didn't look CG. Not much of it. So if that's how far it's come, you know, wow. But then again,
so much better.
I'm sure it was very costly because it's you know, Lucasfilm and Disney who has the money to pump into getting that fine detailed work done in CG, if it is CG. But it was a lot of practical work.
But sometimes I know the price list on some CGI, and it's hilarious. It's so much. They cost so much. So I don't think so. It's all the time more expensive to do practical, because really sometimes CGI can cost, because it's the time that you're buying from the people, and these people sometimes they're like a lot of $100 per hour, and if you multiply the people, that become a huge budget to just like buy and build it, you know.
Well, I think it's because we have this generation of CG people and digital people that are now working in the field, and all of the practical people have disappeared. They've retired. You know, there's not that many around, so it may be difficult to get that many people together in Canada, in London, you know, here to do that. They might be busy. There's not enough to do as much maybe practical work as directors might want to.
So it's just an easier solution.
Yeah, more convenient. Yeah, but you know what? I'd like to see that change, because I'm more of a practical person, practical effects. And
actually, in the Oblivion, the movie, I know the guy that built the helicopter. The helicopter was real.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. It's in Malibu. It's based in Malibu, and they built the whole thing for real.
I saw
For
it was at
real.
Comic-Con one year.
Unbelievable.
So or at some big con.
And
I
it's
was like,
so
wow,
much
I love
better,
it.
you know.
Yeah.
When you watch the movie,
Oh,
you
yeah.
can tell that
Yes.
that's something that you can touch
Yes.
rather than.
Yeah, I think
CGI.
people have a real connection to things they can touch because they're like, wow, I could have that. That's something that I could own. That's something I could sit in. That's something I could carry around with me, and that really makes a difference. It really bonds a person to a project, you know, something that they're watching.
That's
I think
right.
it's great. I want to see more of that.
And then my next question is, how much do you think in the pilot visually we should see of the cyborgs be half robots? That's something that I was thinking about it, you know? Like, we do the fight, some arms will be broken, some, you know, injury on the people. And you need to be a little balanced because you don't want the audience to lose the reference that these guys are human, you know? So what do you think will be a good solution of, oh, Leo, let's show that there are robots like this, you know? Not like the classic, an arm is broken and some cables are coming out.
Mm-hmm.
So do you have any idea and say, hey, Leo, we can do this, you know, this could be a trick, this could be a good idea, or at least a direction? What are your opinion and point of view about this?
Just off the top of my head, I think, you know, like you said, if their arm gets broken, maybe, you know, it could be really disfigured and then they could, you know, pop it right back into a normal position. And that's an easy trick, you know, but effective, you know, to show, oh, wow, they're not human.
Or maybe the one that is stronger than everybody else, you know, 008, has iron, you know, frame inside. Maybe because one of the cool things that I really, really enjoy is that the cyborgs are not built the same at all. It all depends by the ability that they have. So because 0010 can accelerate and can go at a speed almost of light, is built in one way. Because 008 is super strong, is built in another way. Because 006 can have like a vision very far and can. So everybody are built differently. So we can use that in our advantage as well. And so even the style of the body without the human skin, you know, and the robots. I'm always wondering in a sci-fi. How much you should show. There are a lot of people that are saying, Leo, less you show, better is. You know, a lot of time I'm speaking with screenwriter and say, you're doing a sci-fi, but try to show less as possible. But sometimes I'm in a conflict with that, you know?
Yeah, I know. I feel you really have to give them some meat and potatoes. You really do. You can skimp sometimes, but not all the time. You really
cannot be all philosophical.
No.
Feel tricked.
You know, there's some shows, and maybe I won't mention their names. They're very popular, not necessarily sci-fi genre, but maybe of a horror type genre, and it tends to run into. And I find this happens a lot when they try and make a series, and they maybe don't have a budget for a lot of effects or makeup effects. And it turns into a lot of this, and I'm like, oh my God, please stop. Well, can't someone just kill him? You know? And it's like, come on. And then I'm waiting for that, you know, 5 minutes where I'm going to actually see a monster show up. It's like, oh, finally, a monster. Yay, please kill them all. It's really annoying, and I feel cheated. And it's like, you know, I'm not really, and it gets to the points where they try and fill so much time with dialogue of these people, and it's not really interesting.
That's
it's
right.
not all the time interesting. So I really think you have to, you know, get your ducks in order and provide, you know, even work on just little bits, you know, to put here and there, and maybe a big chunk at some point, but don't just fill the time with
Blah, blah, blah.
empty air. Yeah.
Do you remember? I think the movie was called Ex Machina.
Yes.
Yeah. That was a good example of, you know, they show a lot, and you feel and you like it a lot.
Well, that's a feature film, too.
Yeah.
So they ahead of time budgeted, okay, we're going to see this gal's gear works every scene. which was so amazing.
I enjoyed it so much.
I loved it. Yeah, that was great. There's another design too.
I think it was a very good balance between, you know, it's a sci-fi and we're gonna show and we're gonna go in a philosophical direction too, you know, because the movie was pretty solid in the script and in the philosophical direction, you know. And do you have any reference that you have in mind of like, hey, that is a good sci-fi with a good story, not cheap on the story, and they had a lot of sci-fi, you know, elements and a lot of CGI and a lot of, I don't know in Ex Machina how much is CGI, how much is real. I think it's all CGI for what I know.
Oh, I would. Well, you know, and it's a good question. I would think it's CGI, but I wouldn't put it past that. Maybe a lot of the internal workings were maybe built working animatronics that they somehow meshed into the actor moving. Although I think maybe not, because that would have been so hard to match the movement with the actor's movement. So that's why I think maybe that was just very good CGI.
I think so. Replacement
with the movement of the actor. So. But it would be nice if it was actually built and they matched up. It sounds like an incredible amount of work, and I don't put them down for not doing it, because I think that would have just been too time consuming and a trudge to try and get just right and match up perfectly. So,
and another question that has to do with all of this that we're talking. So, at the same time of movies and technology in movies, we have video games. And video games also evolved a lot. And even visually, I mean visually now in video games, what they can do and they are doing, it's amazing. I don't know how big is the team for these video games. There are some video games that the universe is humongous, right? And I don't know how big is the team. I think it's really big. Maybe sometimes even bigger than blockbuster movies, because otherwise it doesn't make any sense how they're able to build all of this. So, with the video games going that direction, always better, 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 and the audience also become bigger and bigger and bigger because they sell it, so people love it. So we have in one direction video games that go with CGI in the realistic way, and then we have movies that we really love, that we want to build real things to get to the realism, you know. So there are two different directions. And what do you think in the end, which direction in the end will win? And do you think one day the two things will collide? Meaning that, you know, video games are if you want one of the last video games and you play is very realistic, do you think one day a movie will be built with that technique? So it will be a 3D world, and the director will put the input of the main character, where he goes, what he say, what he do, and then they will play this 3D world, and they will record it, and that will be the movie. You know what I'm trying to say?
Well, it seems like they were trying to experiment with this concept, I think is what you're referring to, where possibly you could interact with the film and decide what the characters do. No? Is that... That sounds like the direction you're sort of talking about.
That could be
having multiple outcomes of.
But that could be a direction.
Things,
that could be a direction.
You know,
VR,
maybe something.
VR is one of the technologies that are used in the show. A lot of things at the DGA, the Directors Guild. You know, you put this, this thing to see, and then you turn and you see the set around. That could be a direction. They also show us a Star Wars one that they didn't show to anybody, and that was really cool. But what I'm talking about is that sometimes in movies, and you have no idea that this is happening, they do this. For some reason, like they lost a character, or sometimes the character die actually, and they have the location. And this is the reason why, this is a big topic. So this is a reason why the modern sci-fi movies, you guys don't know this because you're not on set. But the modern movies that are sci-fi, they shoot the angle, then they remove the actor, and they shoot the scene, the same timing and the same movement again without the actor. And then they put on set a ball that is made by photo cameras that they do picture of all around. And these go in a computer that give the reference of that take, where the light comes from, where the light goes, the intensity and everything. 'Cause Because eventually, if in the story they're losing something, you believe it or not, They are replacing everything 3D. Everything. The actor, the movement, everything. So they need to capture, you know, the movement and the location to put the fake 3D actor there. We had a movie in the past, I don't know if you remember, called Someone with Al Pacino. That basically, the movie was, Al Pacino owned a computer that was able to generate actors. And he generated a superstar.
Not familiar with
and
that.
He does a movie where everybody are in love with this superstar, a female character, but nobody is able to meet her because she doesn't exist. So Al Pacino doesn't know what to do because she owned the copyrights of this digital character, and she faked that is a real character, but nobody can meet her because she doesn't exist. She's an illusion. So, and the leak was that the studios are trying to create this database. And the database is, I want an actress in this scene walking like Angelina Jolie, kissing like Julia Roberts, and speak like Meg Ryan. Poop. You know, with all the information that they capture in the history before, they're able to generate this character. So, the technology that is being applied in games more is to map everything 3D, and then you shoot your movie. So if the technology moving so fast, do you think that eventually we will go there for movies? Like we will build everything 3D, and then the director will say, okay, then the character, he will come down from these stairs walking like Tom Cruise, and he will go there, and then the computer guy will create that 3D, you know?
Well, I think it could. It definitely, absolutely could. Absolutely. But I think they, it's also what's in fashion, I think, as well. You know, that could get popular, and then audiences may be like, you know what, I'm tired of that. I know it's not real. I want something real. I want to see a real person.
With a shaky camera.
Yeah, they want
black
realism.
and white.
You know, it's like people have gotten tired of CG, you know, and they want practical effects again. And that's entirely possible. And, you know, fashion trends ebb and flow and rise and lower. So it could, and then it could come back and go back up again. You know, time goes on and on and on and on. So you never know what the future is going to bring and when.
All the direction are possible. Now, there is a question. So, are we going to see anything that is unique in the design elements that we have never seen before?
Unique design elements that we've never seen
before.
Yeah,
original stuff. Oh, we better do.
I think so. Like, in fact, this idea I was having for these medical robots, I feel is something, you know, that I have in mind, and it's really simple, and but it's really never been done, and that's the advantage of.
Thank you, Fiona, for the question.
Yes, thanks, Fiona. Oh, that's my friend Fiona.
Yay!
Hi, Fiona! Yay! Thanks for tuning in. Yeah, I have this idea, and I want to put it in. You know, it may be a little costly for one, but it's so simple. But I'm sorry, I started saying this is where I think my personal history viewing science fiction becomes very valuable, because I've seen a lot. I've seen good, I've seen bad, I've seen in between. So I've seen a lot of what's been done. So that helps me to not do something that's been done or overdone, or, you know, I might take little bits of something that's been done and put it together in a way that, you know, maybe you haven't seen before or you haven't seen in a long time. But it also allows me to, you know, come up with what have I never seen before. And if I haven't seen this before, probably, you know, a lot of other people haven't seen this concept. So yeah, Fiona,
original.
You can count on me, Fiona. I'm gonna do it. She knows me. She's a sweetheart, and she's been to a lot of my art exhibits, and you know, she's very appreciative of my
Tuna.
Yes.
And then, do you like stop motion technique? Like, do you like to integrate stop motion in movies? Sometimes you can tell that it's stop motion, but personally I still like it, even if when I can tell, okay, they did a stop motion trick. Do you like it or not?
I kind of do too. It's very retro, especially if it's, you know, not, you know, 30 or 48 frames per second. You know, it's kind of cute.
Like in Terminator, there are some scenes
Oh,
that
yeah,
they
yeah.
use stop motion. You can tell.
Sure. Not anymore. In the original
In
one,
the
yeah.
original,
Of
yeah.
course.
And I like it a lot.
It's fun. It reminds you of the old Harryhausen films, you know? And, I mean, as kids, we bought into that. But, you know, a lot of the younger generation might be like, well, that looks fake. That looks hokey. It's like, yeah, well, you don't have the ability to leap your imagination into it or just have fun with it. I liked it.
It's so cool.
Yeah.
Do you know that in Lego, the movie, that's a digital effect? The
That
stop
looks
motion,
like, yeah.
the stop motion effect was one of the most difficult things for them to do. Can you believe? It's a joke. It was digital. Digital.
They did digital stop motion to imitate stop motion, and that's fine. That's fine. It harkened back to
As long as
stop motion.
Yeah.
So, and that's fine. I kind of appreciated that.
Yeah.
So
maybe that is the basic rule. So as long as our mind is strict, doesn't matter how you do it. If it's CGI or not, I don't want to know, and I don't care. As long as
sure.
Right.
What does that mean?
So we have another question from Prentice. Is pretty big. So I thought the robot in Alien was interesting because they really didn't show any mechanical structure, or the organic one, or internal making, but they had these tubes, what broken like glass bubbles, and the white fluid for blood. That was a cool effect.
Right.
Not a question, but just a comment. But it can be a question. I will pop it up in the screen if you want to read it by yourself.
Right. No, I know they're talking about
Very organic.
Benedict Cumberbatch's character.
When the ad is in the ground and say blah, 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 blah.
Right. And it's the same Wayland Industries android synthetic persons materials. You know, since the 1979 Alien film. And they have tubes and little bulbs and milk for lubricant and hydraulic fluids. Yeah, that's great. I mean, that's a great different take on that. Back in '79, you didn't see any structure because they couldn't afford to machine, you know, a skeleton, and so you had to believe that just these tubes made everything work. And perhaps now that could be plausible as like a musculature, and that's how their arms can move through hydraulics that are using electrical current to constrict and expand. So yeah. Okay, it wasn't a question? Good.
No, it wasn't a question. It was
I mean, I love
a
that,
point.
and I appreciate that, and thanks for bringing that up.
And then one of my questions is this: do you like the idea to have storyboards before you start anything in one scene, because you will know what will appear in the scene and for how long? Because before you were saying, yeah, great, we build this stuff and then the camera pass, well, done, you know? So maybe if you get the storyboard and you get what time and how much time something will appear in the screen, you can focus more in some element and some less in others, that you know that the camera is just passed. That is so much easier to work with, right?
Sure. Absolutely. It's great to have a plan. It's not good to not have a plan.
Even visually for a movie, like if you knew that wasn't show more than 3 seconds, maybe you will focus on something else that you know for sure, like the costume of the Great Wall. The costume of her, it was all the time, 24 hours in the movie. Did you know that, for example? Did you add that information that the movie?
I did not. I had coworkers that went to a screening of it about 2 months ago or less, and they said, yeah, it was on the entire time.
Yeah. And so,
like, wow.
Can you imagine if the director or an assistant or somebody in production would come to your office and say, remember guys, you're building a costume that is 24 hours in all the movie from the beginning to the end, long shot, medium shot, details and everything. You know,
I don't think we knew that when we were building her suit.
That's right.
I'm not sure how many suits of hers we built, actually. I cannot recall the final build amount, but and we also made all the male characters' helmets and their little chest medallions.
Or a weapon, even a weapon. You know, sometimes I see these movies that the budget is $200 million. They do a close-up of a weapon. And are you kidding me? And you can tell that it's plastic or something. And it's like, How is that possible?
That's bad. That's a no-no. If you're going to have a money shot, you have to have a hero prop. You have to have a gorgeous, showpiece.
If you know that is huge in the screen.
Gorgeous showpiece.
Working piece.
Yes, you have to have it, and it has to work.
Even the screen.
Yeah, it has to work. It can't just not work when you're going in an interview like now. But storyboards are very important, and I would prefer to have someone tell me where they want to go.
What?
How much
I
time,
which lens, which that will help so much, right?
Right. Yeah, because it makes a difference of who I'm going to have build what. You don't want to be surprised later, in fact, to hear, oh well, we need to see this close up the whole time. It's like, well, you didn't tell me that because this is not really appropriate for close up.
That's right.
It's not. It's gonna, as the closer it gets to camera, the less realistic it's going to look.
Sure.
So that's why we actually now build everything, to look good in case the director decides he wants to see this close up. So they have the option, but okay, well that's going to look good on screen.
Right.
So we do actually. That is a common practice now to make sure everything can look great on screen, no matter what it is. So.
And then, are you ever bothered, because for example, I am, and I know a lot of people are not, are you ever bothered with some mistakes of the time, of the position? Like for example, you're doing a costume, a period movie, and you see elements and fabrics that in that time there were no way to have it, and I see this constantly,
Uh-huh.
So are you bothered for that, or you think like, oh, it's a movie, let them play whatever direction they have?
No, I call people out on that anytime I see it. And, I work with the wardrobe department closely. I'm with them. And so we always, if some production or film or TV show makes a big boo-boo, we call it out right away. That's the first thing we talk about the next day at work. Like, did you see they had a zipper?
Yes.
They didn't have zippers then.
Yes.
Did you see, they had a snap. They had Velcro.
Yes.
Like, they didn't have Velcro in the 1800s.
Or plastic in medieval time. Seriously, guys? Come on.
It doesn't happen often, but we've caught it. And we do look for it. We do try. It's a game. We make a game out of it. It's like, okay, did they get it right? Did they get it right? Yeah, they got it right.
But they have the budget for it. Why do they do this costume with Velcro zip, and when they know that it's like, for example, a medieval?
Well, they wouldn't do that for a main focused on character, maybe for background characters.
And then maybe the director decide to switch a shot closer to somebody in the band, and this has happened.
Yeah, they sometimes don't catch it, and they may not catch it in editing either, and then it gets on screen. Yeah, I mean, there's videos out there, websites that show, 20 boo-boos in Star Wars, like where there's a truck in the background. It's like, and like, wow, I never noticed that, Like, people are really picking it apart because there were so many things I was like, I would have never seen that, but I guess, I didn't work on it, so maybe I'm not looking for it.
And then, do you like the option of integrate to real props or real costumes or real props at the CGI enchantment, CGI boost, you know what I mean? So you start from here, and then maybe digitally they will put some other stuff and make more.
Yeah.
Or you prefer do it from scratch?
I mean, I certainly appreciate it more if this gun is going to have a pop-up. You push a button and this pops up and turns and moves. If it's not, you can usually tell with handheld, especially items, if it's CG or not. And even if you can't tell, usually word of mouth from production gets out that, oh no, that moving part was real. It's not CG'd. And then the audience and the fan base and sci-fi fans appreciate it so much more. It really builds your reputation a lot, the more realistic work you put into things. Like in this item, I have a working screen with videos that run, which I think is fantastic, as opposed to back on Next Gen when they didn't have screens that small they could load stuff on. So they had to,
project
blue
something.
Screen in, a screen. They had to lock off an actor's hand where it didn't move at all. And then they just were doing this, and to get that screen working. But you know, now that's why I figured they'd appreciate this, because like here you have the working screen, and it's great.
Yeah. All right. So it's oh, we have another question from Fiona again. I know in actual costume designer make me more than one piece for a scene. Do you have to do the same with your props or design? For how many pieces do you make?
It varies. It depends on what production has in their budget.
Oh yeah.
So I will tell you, for instance, on Gem and the Holograms, which I worked, we built Synergy, the robot, at Quantum Creation Effects, and production did not have money for backup. It's very valuable to have more than one, because you don't know who is going to drop a piece and break it, and then, you know, if it's the main character, you know, all of production is going to stop for a day until they can fix it.
And also, I think that sometimes you guys build props for action and props not for action, right? Because there is a huge difference.
Yeah, there's the hero and the stunt. And we did have a stunt Synergy, but it was just a head inside of a backpack, because the gal ran around with it in a backpack. And so, of course, we couldn't have the fully working puppet in a backpack. They had to be very careful with it at all times. It was only handled by one person, Christian Beckman, the owner of Quantum Creation Effects, and he was puppeteering it, and so he knew the value. So it was very valuable that he was there to watch over it every minute and take care of it and operate it, because he knew what would be involved if anything went wrong. So if the budget is there, they will, but if it's not, there may only be one. But
and then I have another question that comes in my mind, and I'm a big fan of this, actually. So sometimes in TV shows, sci-fi TV shows, or even sci-fi movies, okay, sometimes it's more challenging than other times, but sometimes you can tell if they want to be influenced by the 50, the 60, the 70, even the 20. You can tell that there is like a team, like the creators say, okay, let's do this design like they did it in the 20, in the 50. Even in some video games, they do the same thing.
Right.
Do you like this approach of the future that is a little bit nostalgic and remind you the past, or you think that you should try something else for cyborgs? I'm talking about.
Oh, for cyborgs. Well, maybe, I don't know, maybe not for cyborgs, because it's so close to now and only 5 minutes in the future. I don't know if I would go with the retro, maybe quasi-80s look. You know, there are films like, one of my favorites is Brazil, Terry Gilliam film.
Love it.
It's like you didn't know what time period that was. It looked like the 40s, but they had these computers, but the computers were clickety-clack keyboards with a black and white screen. It was amazing. You didn't know what time period it was, and that was awesome.
Almost cyberpunk, yeah.
Yeah. Also, the movie, a little small film, which a lot of people didn't like, was It Follows. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. It was it had that kind of Nightmare on Elm Street vibe to it, and
do you remember the 13th Floor? Did you ever seen that Sci-Fi?
I don't remember that. No. But It Follows. We didn't know what, because every TV on every scene was a tube television. Yet this gal pulls out what looks like her compact makeup thing, and it's round like a clamshell, and then you see, and it's some kind of e-reader. I'm like, what is going on? Where am I? It was very bizarre, but they didn't go enough, and so it's strange. So I do like when that's done. I don't know if that would fit for cyborgs.
And sometimes they do that, but they don't know. Like in some Star Trek TV shows, you can tell they were the 70s. Come on.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure they want to go there, but you definitely can tell that they were the 70s. Especially the 70s. The 70s come out very, very easy in movies from that year. Even if there is a sci-fi, you know, if it's the 70s, you can tell more than other ages, I think, that is the 70s. Especially in sci-fi.
Yeah.
But anyway, so thank you so much to be here.
Yes.
You know, it's... Oh, another question? No. You know, I'm sure that he's very busy. We will come back with AJ with some other interview. So thank you so much for this today. And don't forget to watch the pilot in www.00cyborgs.com and participate if you want to participate. Otherwise, just watch the pilot over there is free. So thank you so much to be with us, and talk to you soon. Ciao. Bye.